Guster is an American alternative rock band from Boston, Massachusetts. Founding members Adam Gardner, Ryan Miller, and Brian Rosenworcel began practice sessions while attending Tufts University in Medford, Massachusetts and formed the band in 1991. The members met during the freshman wilderness orientation program in August of that year, playing publicly together as a trio 2 months later at the Midnight Cafe coffeehouse set in the common area of the Lewis Hall dormitory. While attending Tufts, the band lived at 139 College Avenue in Somerville, Massachusetts. The band stayed underground for its first 2 full-length albums, Parachute and Goldfly, but broke into the musical mainstream in 1999 with its 3rd studio album Lost and Gone Forever, with the single Far Far, which made it onto the adult top 40. The band has enjoyed moderate success on the charts with Keep It Together, its 4th album, with 2 singles in the adult top 40. Joe Pisapia joined the official lineup for Keep It Together, and its follow-up, Ganging Up on the Sun, peaked at 25 on the Billboard 200. A variety of television shows and movies have featured the band's music, including Martian Child, which featured their song Satellite. Disturbia. Wedding Crashers. Life is a House, which makes several allusions to the band throughout the film, The O.C. And one of the band unregistered trademark Air songs was used in an ad for the Weather Channel. Guster's tours were originally local, but began to spread as the band gained popularity. In 1999, Guster gave its first performance in Canada, followed by a 2004 tour in Britain that had 4 shows in London and 1 in Manchester. Guster maintains a liberal taping policy and has a very dedicated and active taping community. Despite this policy, the band has released several live shows via iTunes. History. The band members met during freshman orientation at Tufts University in 1991. A year later, after writing a few songs in their dorm rooms, the band named itself Gus and booked its first gig. The band recorded its first album independently in 1994, titled Parachute. This album established the band as a favorite of the same 1990s scene that became popular through bands such as the Dave Matthews Band, the Disco Biscuits, Mo, Fish, and Widespread Panic. The band was still in college when it recorded the album. Shortly after the release of Parachute, another artist calling himself Gus signed a deal with a major record company, forcing the band to rename itself Guster. In 1996, the band independently recorded their second album, Goldfly, releasing it early the next year. In 1998 the band signed with Sire Records and re-released Goldfly. A year later, the band released the album Lost and Gone Forever, produced by Steve Lillywhite. With the backing of a major label, the band appeared on shows such as The Late Show with David Letterman, and it released their first music video for their song Far Far. The band released its 4th album, Keep It Together, in 2003, with the first single, Amsterdam, which got significant airplay on the radio. A live album DVD, Guster on Ice, compiled from 2 shows in Portland, Maine, in December 2003, was released in 2004. Guster released its 5th full-length studio album, Ganging Up on the Sun, on June 20, 2006. The single Manifest Destiny/Sorority Tears was released in November 2005 on the Internet. Alongside Ganging Up on the Sun, the band released a documentary comedy series called Joe's Place on its website. More recently, the group, along with the Bare Naked Ladies, participated in the latter's Ships and Dip cruise. In 2009, Guster took part in a similar event with musician John Mayer called May I Craft Carrier 2 aboard the Carnival Splendor. On September 27, 2006, Guster won Album of the Year at the Boston Music Awards. Guster released their 6th studio album Easy Wonderful on October 5, 2010. Mixing for the album commenced on March 15, 2010 according to an update from the band's Twitter account. On April 30, Guster released Jonah, an outtake from sessions for their then upcoming album, on the Download to Donate for Haiti compilation album. On July 20, Guster released the song Bad Bad World as a free download on their website. Before starting their 2010 fall tour, Guster announced that Joe Pisapia would not be touring with the band. Instead, Joe would be touring with K.D. Lang, with whom he had been writing songs. It was also announced that Luke Reynolds would be filling in for Joe starting September 12, 2010. In early 2014, it was announced that Guster was recording its seventh studio album, under the production of the Shins keyboardist Richard Swift. Guster announced that the album was finished on April 8, 2014 and will be independently published on their Rocco Mule label. Guster released their latest studio album, Of Emotion, on January 13, 2015 with Rocco Mule/Network Records. The debut concert for Of Emotion took place with the release of the Greenovate Boston 2014 Climate Action Plan update with Mayor Martin J. Walsh, as a statement of the band's support for environmental causes. Style: Guster is often recognized for its choice of instruments during their earlier years, 2 members playing acoustic guitars and 1 member playing various percussion instruments. Brian Rosenworcel, the band's percussionist, added to Guster's unique sound with a combination of bongos, cymbals, and other drums, playing live shows using only his bare hands. While Miller played rhythm parts, Gardner would often play a bass line on his guitar. Guster's sound is recognized for its vocal harmonies, with both Miller and Gardner singing lead vocals on different songs. In songs such as What You Wish For and Happier, the 2 members sing different lyrics simultaneously. While Guster's studio albums included more instrumental variety, its live shows generally retained the same lineup until tours supporting its album Lost and Gone Forever, in which the band diversified by playing different instruments on some songs. At this time, Rosenworcel began introducing a more traditional drum kit into the stage and studio performances in an effort to move away from bare hand percussion. Following the release of Keep It Together, multi-instrumentalist Joe Pisapia, who had been touring with the band, became a full-time member. Guster's live shows have a style of their own. For encores, the band has sometimes featured drummer Brian Rosenworcel, who is not known for his vocals, moving to the front microphone and singing humorous covers. These have ranged from Temple of the Dog's Hunger Strike to Four Non-Blondes, What's Up?, to the theme song from the TV show Cheers. Guster has toured with many other artists, such as Ben Folds, Nickel Creek, Tally Hall, Ben Queller, Pete Yorn, Nada Surf, John Mayer, Rogue Wave, Good Old War, The Submarines, Jack's Mannequin, and Rufus Wainwright. Other traditions at live shows have been developed over the years. For example, at the end of Airport Song, people in the crowd throw ping-pong balls at the stage, in reference to the studio recording, where the audio of a table tennis game can be heard in the background. Fan reception. Guster maintains a close relationship with its fans with regular studio updates and road journals on their website, guster.com, and signs autographs after shows. Guster once maintained a rep program, through which fans received promotional materials for upcoming concerts and albums to sell. Reps were awarded with a special, rep-only series of EPs called the Pasty Tapes, as well as invitations to rep-only concerts. Early in its career, Guster managed to sell more than 10,000 copies of Parachute and Goldfly through little more than word of mouth. Following the release of Ganging Up on the Sun, the band formed a new program called The Wrecking Machines, through which fans are able to receive posters for advertising nearby concerts. Guster is a constantly touring band, often playing up to 250 shows a year. The band's humor is noted by many fans. For laughs, the 3 members of Guster opened a number of their own shows as the Peace Soldiers, 3 redneck-looking musicians. With the addition of Joe into the band, it has since opened for itself in costume as a jam band called Trippin' Balls. During a 2001 show in Rochester, New York, the band started their show with an empty stage. The music to The Price is Right played over the sound system, and a voice called each of the band members down from where they had hid themselves in the audience. Upon hearing their name, each member played the part of an enthusiastic game show contestant all the way to the stage. During a show in 2002 when Guster played with John Mayer and John Butler Trio in Memphis, Tennessee, the band danced around on stage with KFC buckets covering their heads while JBT was playing their set. On July 26, 2011, Ryan Miller went on to Turntable FM to give live previews of tracks off of Guster's On the Ocean EP and listen to music with fans. Guster has also been known to play humorous covers of recognizable songs during their encores, some of which Brian Rosenworcel has sung lead vocals. A few of these performances have included Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Where Everybody Knows Your Name, the Cheers theme song, Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler, In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, and Firework by Katy Perry as a 2013 July 4th closer at Milwaukee Summerfest. Activism. In 2004, Guster guitarist and vocalist Adam Gardner and his wife co-founded Reverb, an organization dedicated to assisting touring artists by making activities more environmentally sound. It operates from within the music industry as well as the environmental world. Reverb greens artists unregistered trademark tours and the music business at large while raising awareness and support for the environment through an interactive eco-village. Since its inception, Reverb has worked with Jack Johnson, Bare Naked Ladies, Bonnie Raitt, John Mayer, Dave Matthews Band, and Guster. In July 2006, both Gardner and Sullivan were interviewed about Reverb by the Green Room magazine, which would later interview Gardner alone in coverage of a Guster's show. Newsweek did a similar profile in its April 16, 2007, issue. In 2006, Guster named its spring tour the Campus Consciousness Tour. The band toured with the format, and it powered its buses and trucks with biodiesel and aimed to use the tour to teach audiences about the environment. Participation in early 2007 ISTAL Winter Tour is similarly gold. In fall 2007, Guster headlined the Crocs Next Step Campus Tour with Brett Dennen as a supporting act. The tour promoted eco-friendly green initiatives while educating attendees on ways to help the environment. The tour stopped at 15 colleges, including the University of Puget Sound, Gonzaga University, the College of William and Mary, North Carolina State University, Michigan State University, Pennsylvania State University, the University of Vermont, the University of Florida, Furman University, Georgia Southern University, Murray State University, Vanderbilt University, Indiana University, Williams College, and the University of Rochester. In spring 2009, the band continued the Green Initiative touring, performing at colleges including University of New Hampshire, Northeastern University, University of Arkansas, University of Wisconsin, Fordham University, Union College, Colby College, Ohio State University, University of Dayton, Albright College, Marquette University, Clark University, University of Richmond, and the University of Pennsylvania. Band members: Adam Gardner lead vocals, guitar, bass, keyboard, banjo, trumpet; Ryan Miller lead vocals, backing vocals, guitar, bass, piano, banjo, harmonica, ukulele, guitar; Brian Rosenworcel drums, percussion; Luke Reynolds backing vocals, guitar, bass, banjo, keyboard; past members: Joe Pisapia backing vocals, guitar, bass, banjo, harmonica, keyboard, lap steel guitar, cowbell, Appalachian dulcimer. Discography: Studio albums: Parachute, Goldfly, Lost and Gone Forever, Keep It Together, Ganging Up on the Sun, Easy Wonderful, If Emotion. References. External links: Official website, Guster Collection at the Internet Archive's Live Music Archive.